Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 40.
Truth is liberating. And most people function out of lies and deceit when it comes to their sexuality. You know, it's a lot of pretending going on.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast. We have another great interview for you today. As I mentioned, I'm Kim and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessings.
Yes, and this is episode 40, and we are joined, I should say, by Dr. Akua Gray. And we actually discussed many great topics. It was a powerful interview.
Yeah.
But we dive into holistic sexuality, what that is. We dived into the issues with relationships, how to have harmonious relationships, what a true relationship constitutes, how does that look, and so many other things.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this show, and I think that our listeners will as well. And we just spoke about so many great things. She's such an incredible person, and she's doing great work internationally, you know, and she continues to give back and come home and give back here. So, yeah, this is a great interview.
Yeah, so before we dive into the interview, I would just like to share a little bit of information about Dr. Akua. Dr. Akua, naturopath, spiritualist, and master teacher, is the International Operations Director for A Life of Peace WellnessInstitute, Inc., an international holistic health education and wellness nonprofit organization. She is the author of numerous books, including Natural Health and Wellness Manual, Veggie Delights, Recipes for Holistic Health, Eating Live for Maximum Nutrition and Wellness, Akuahaba, Dr. Akua's GhanaianVegan Cuisine, Today, Wellness Manifestations and HolisticSexuality, the practical guide to sexual healing. Dr. Akua has shared the gifts of her works with the international communities of the USA, Canada, the Caribbean, Israel, the Philippines, England, Qatar, Germany, Japan, and Ghana. And for the full bio, because she has done extensive work, just go to jkhealthtribe.com/40 and you can read her full bio there. So without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Kim and Jamal here. And today we are joined with Dr. Akua Gray. Hi, Dr. Akua. How are you?
Peace and blessings, everyone. All is well. Thank you.
Peace. Glad to have you on.
And before we dive into this interview, we just want to say thank you for taking the time to join us. And we look forward to sharing some amazing information with our community.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yes. So for people just learning about you for the first time, what is your personal story and journey on your path to becoming a master teacher and healer? Who is Dr. Akua?
That is a very good question. I answer that usually because I've had that question before, and it's always a good question because we are such evolving beings, especially when we're on a spiritual path. I like to say that I am divine energy. And my personal story that led me to that realization was the fact that I grew up with a sick mother. And in growing up with a sick mother, there are some things that I saw her do that I did not want for myself. And so I chose the path of holistic health and healing so that the traumas and the discomforts that I had to deal with as a child and as a teenager, and then having a mother to transition into the spiritual realm in my early adult life made me want to make some changes and to live my life a little bit differently. My mother was a very loving woman. She always nurtured in the best possible way. And so I wanted to be able to share that concept, that living in love that I had with my mother, with my children in particular. So that was the start of my journey to eating healthy. That was the start of my journey to studying about good health, to maintaining a healthy weight, and also being focused on staying disease-free.
Yeah.
And along the way, of course, meeting other master teachers of our time and studying with them, and also attending many different institutions of learning for holistic health. By profession, I was a public school teacher for many number of years before I retired and decided to go into holistic health full-time, which was about 10 years ago. So the organization, which is a nonprofit organization called the Life of Peace WellnessInstitute, was the start of that full-time, as you say, master teacher and healer era of my life. And so that's where I am now, and I say that I live every day on purpose.
Yeah, and that is a great story.
Yes.
And so I know with your institute, you as well as helping people with their health, you also you teach and you offer different types of certifications as well. Like what led you to explore that side, not only helping people to heal themselves, but now teaching people how to help others to heal themselves. Like what made you decide to take that on? Well,
one of the things that I saw, being an educator by profession, one of the things that I saw is that we would have our holistic health teachers to come into our communities for a lecture. Okay, they'd come in for a lecture, a workshop, or a retreat or something like that. And then they would leave. Okay? And so after they left, most of our communities had no other resources for holistic health education, except for, lecturers coming in and out of town, Dr. Paul Goss, Queen Akua, Dr. Jewel Pukrum, those names that we know over the last 20, 30 years in holistic health. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that we decided to do when we started A Life of Peace was we wanted to be that community organization for the entire African diaspora to be able to offer consistent holistic health education training. So in the very beginning, we decided to teach a naturopath class, which we still teach, but we needed to start with a public face.
Yeah.
Someone knew that we could introduce ourselves to every community around. And so we chose Dr. Laila Africa. Mm-hmm. And so we actually toured him for about 3 years around the country, the Caribbean, into Canada, and we also had a few other healers to come on board within those few years of our beginnings, like Queen Afua, Dr. Jewel Pukrum, Ayohende Kendi, Dr. Scott Whitaker, and we actually went out and sponsored lectures for them to really introduce the organization to the different communities.
Yes.
And so once we were well established and people started to know us, and then seeing that this was a reliable organization for holistic health training, just to put it lightly, we no longer needed public spaces.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, we went ahead and just took off with our full-fledged programs of teaching Reiki certifications, holistic health business, Iridology. We went on to begin teaching vegan chef training, do women's rites of passages. So it's just a whole host of things that we offer in every community now. And then when the online training became popular, we no longer had to literally travel out to the different cities, although we still do that occasionally. But most of what we offer now is either in retreat form, where we have our central locations, and then our online classes are very prevalent now. So that's how we started, and, you know, we named it Institute because we plan on being around for quite a while. You know, the next few generations or the next 10, 12, 20 generations, you know. So we are, and what I have found now, this year is actually 2016. We started in 2006. So as I look back over our last 10 years in helping to bring holistic health education to the community, I found that almost everyone who is doing holistic health in our communities on a consistent basis, because that's one thing we really try to help our students to internalize, has been influenced or touched by a Life of Peace Wellness Institute in some way. And that's very encouraging for our next 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Because we actually have healers in just about every community around the U.S. as well as in Canada, the Caribbean, in England. We have taught students as far away as Guam who have gone into holistic health in their communities, and that was the mission.
Yeah.
That was the mission, to be able to have a healer in every community, and for that healer to provide consistent service to the African diaspora.
Yeah, and that's great. And just as a testament to that, you know, I took you and Dr. Africa's naturopathic, advanced naturopathic training back in, I believe, 2007. And, you know, we've, you know, had our holistic center for 10 years now. So, and that's full-time consistent for 10 years now. So, you know, another, you know, center that you touched and had influence on. And we thank you for that.
Yes.
Received. That's wonderful. And I love those kinds of testimonies.
Yeah.
So it's never ending in terms of what we need related to wellness in our community.
Indeed. One of the things that I like that you offer is the holistic health business coaching, because you know, in our community we have a lot of you know, technicians, people that are good at the craft but not business savvy. So when it comes to the business world and trying to be successful in it, a lot of our businesses fail because of that. So I think it's great that that you add that business piece on to your model as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And when you can be successful in business, you can be consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the things that what we teach is not only the business part, but also balance in the business. You know, because I have seen a lot of healers over the years, especially those in the generation that came before us, just burn themselves out.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, one of the main components that we teach is not only, you know, how to run the business, how to set up the business, make sure that your business is in balance. And I always teach, of course, in business, my eye in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, you really have to take some time to make sure that you're still nourishing yourself.
Yeah.
Because I've also seen quite a few healers to become bitter because business was not successful and they felt unappreciated.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In things that they were offering to the community, and that's not healing for themselves or the people that they're trying to serve.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point. We see that quite often, unfortunately. Yeah, and just understanding business, we also understand why that happens. So, like you said, to find that balance or ma'at is extremely important. And it you're international. You're traveling the world. I know you just got back from Ghana.
Actually, I repatriated to Ghana in 2009.
Oh, nice.
Actually living there.
Wow.
For the past 6 years. So that is home.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
One of the things that brings me back here to the U.S. Is I now have a granddaughter and a grandson.
That's what brings you back, right?
Yes. So, we were super excited about those little ones coming through. So I'm actually here not only for teaching during the spring and summer, which I usually come back every spring and summer, but I'm also homeschooling my granddaughter. So I'm really excited about that. So I kind of consider myself bicontinental now because I'm not going to miss her growing up.
Right. That is great. We homeschool our daughter, so we definitely understand the power, and we appreciate that. So what's going on in Ghana? What are you doing out there?
I don't know if I really want to say this, but okay, I'll tell the truth. I'm doing absolutely nothing but growing organic food, living on solar power, oceanfront.
Wow.
And relaxing every day and writing. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
We need to come visit you.
Right. I mean, that's all you're doing, but you're doing so much.
That's a lot.
Because you're living the life of your dreams. You're living the life that you want to live, and a stress-free type of life, the life that you created for yourself. And that's amazing, because so many people want to do that, but just haven't positioned themselves to do it. So it's inspiring as well, to hear that and to know that you position yourself in this way. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And then you can come back, you can teach, you're doing your online work, so you can still contribute and help to cultivate and develop and heal the people. I definitely congratulate you on that. That's amazing.
Received, and it is truly a blessing to be able to do that, because especially being in a monoculture, that's one of the things that I like best about Ghana, because, living here and growing up in America, we've never known a monoculture. And so to see everyone looking like you, I mean, you're no stranger. It's just a beautiful experience. And like I said, we chose to live by the sea, so we have a river and an ocean that's right in front of of our place, and that's a beautiful thing. So, I plan on living a very long time. So, based on one of our master teachers, Dr. Jewel Pookrum, who talks about being an immortalist, you have to regulate your environment, and it has to be an environment that's naturally in alignment with nature.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I chose village life in Africa as opposed to city life in Africa.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's great. And just in contrast, just kind of, traveling the world, living in Ghana now, being kind of by citizenship, in the U.S. as well as Ghana, what's your take on the health of the United States overall? And then comparing that to the health of where you are in Ghana.
That's a good question. Overall, here in the United States, I think I like to be optimistic. I know that we as naturopaths, as natural healers, can work hand in hand with allopathic medicine. If we continue to vibe together and continue to try to understand each other. Because from a scientific and a technological point of view, they have allopathy, has what we need in terms of able to know what exactly is wrong with the body and their ability to diagnose.
Mm-hmm.
And then from a holistic point of view, us as healers, we have what they need in terms of realigning the body with nature so that it functions fully in the way that it should, based on the way that the Creator created the body and not based on machinery and chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think that the more that holistic health continues to grow and is put in the face of allopathic medicine, I think that they will begin to see that the integration, we have integrative medicine, that the integration between natural healing and allopathic technology and diagnosis can really work hand in hand. So I'm really looking forward to that being the norm in the future, because, we don't want to throw away the machines. The machines can kind of look inside and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, the less, the healthier we are, the less we'll have to use the machines. But, like Dick Gregory says, if he's in a car accident, don't take him to an herbalist. Take him to the hospital.
Absolutely.
So, we kind of have to work hand in hand. So as far as the state of where I would like to see healing go in America, that's where it would be. Now, the second part of that question that you asked, in comparison to what I see in Ghana and what I see here, the Ghana medical industry is trying to replicate the Western medical industry.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate part about that is they don't have the resources to effectively replicate it.
Mm.
So what I do see in Ghana is that hand-in-hand work between allopathic medicine and the natural herbalists that have traditionally taken care of the people. Okay, so, there is literally an herbalist in every family.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one of the fortunate things is, we had a family in our village to adopt us. So one of the things that was fortunate about that, and I guess it's just the Creator's divine will, is there were several herbalists in that family that took us in the village, to say, okay, these are good people, let us welcome them into the village.
Mm.
So what they began to do is, when they found out that I was a natural doctor, they began to teach me about all of the different herbs that were in our local area. And from the papa, who is the oldest in the family, all the way down to Joyce, who is one of the younger granddaughters in the family, who's being taught about herbs, and Vivian, who is a teenager in the family, she's being taught about herbs. So right now, I'm on their level. And we will go on an herb walk, and we'll walk down the road, and they'll tell me, okay, this is for this bush is for this is for malaria. And what you will see is, during the seasons that these particular ailments are more prevalent, like the Qatar, which is what we call the cold, and malaria season, you will see these different plants blooming and actually coming into season during the time when, if there is an influx of mosquitoes, you have the mosquito bushes that you dry and burn like an incense to keep the mosquitoes away. So it's, it has been really nice being able to learn that. But what I see is, most people who get sick in Ghana, they will try their traditional ways of healing first.
Yes.
And if those traditional ways of healing don't work in a certain amount of time, then they'll go to the doctor, the clinic, or the hospital.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they're aligned correctly. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if what they receive at the clinic at the hospital doesn't work, they go right back to the indigenous remedies.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a balance, the ordinary people.
Right, yeah.
Have a balance in terms of being able to heal themselves from the earth.
That's beautiful to hear. I mean,
right.
Isn't the wisdom of nature divine and amazing? You know, the way that it works like that. And that's one of the things that we talk about on our show quite often, trying to get people to, think about self-care and self-healing first, and to take a natural approach first. And then if they're getting some resistance with that, then take the allopathic approach. But so many times, people will take that approach first. So we're out of alignment. So it's really good to hear that natural alignment that people have in Ghana. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now, just to, change gears a little bit, you recently came out with a book on holistic sexuality. What's the full name of your book?
It's called Holistic Sexuality, a practical guide to sexual healing.
Yeah. Now, what led to you, writing this book? Can you tell us about that and what the book is about?
Okay. Yeah, the book is a manual. It's a working manual for couples, families, individuals to begin to look at their sexual health from a holistic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes being able to heal from past dysfunctional experiences. It also touches on a little bit of sexual healing in terms of actually using sex as a physical avenue for healing certain ailments in the body.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about healing relationships between man and woman in a marriage, and how to establish an effective marital relationship or relationship in general. It talks about multiple family structures and how all of the multiple family structures that are available to us are divine,
mm-hmm.
whether it is polygamy, polyandry, polyamory, or monogamy. And it gives some examples of how to make each one of those relationships work in a healthier way.
Mm-hmm.
And it also talks about holistic sexuality in terms of how we teach our children as well. Because we don't want to tell all of the lies that people told us when we were growing up about our sexuality, and then we had to get out into the world and kind of find out on our own.
Right. Yeah, that's powerful.
And so it is also a guide to help parents to talk to their children about sexuality so that it becomes something that is natural for them and not something that they should be afraid of or that they're taught is nasty or unhealthy or unclean, because it's not.
Right.
Okay. So the book it's a short book. It's not a very long book, but, the feedback that I've gotten, the sales that I've gotten, says that it is a book that is actually helping people. So I'm very glad about that. What made me write the book is that in a lot of the classes that I teach, especially classes to women, the sexual dysfunctionality will always come out in some kind of way as a topic of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And so in wanting to help heal from those past wounds that so many people were dealing with, made me decide that I needed to write this book.
Mm-hmm.
Because this book, because my experience was not like everyone else's experience. Okay? What I found is that the experience that I have growing up with sexuality was totally different from every woman's experience that I had counseled with and that we had worked with in groups, worked with in rites of passages, and I said, okay, no one has a book that's helping us.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
no one has a book that's helping us. You know, they're telling us about, you know, how to do Tantra and, you know, all of those kinds of things. So this is not a book on Tantra.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is the book to help you overcome fears, inhibitions, bad relationships, baggage that you're carrying, all of those kinds of things. One aspect of the book is I have a holistic sex test. And in that holistic sex test, we look at the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical aspects of what a person has gone through. And it actually measures where they are in their sexual maturity. Are they at a physical maturity level? Are they at an emotional maturity level? Are they at a mental maturity level? Or are they at a spiritual? Now, it's very few people that are at spiritual and mental. Most people are functioning in terms of their sexual maturity at a physical and an emotional level, and which are the two lowest levels in terms of sexual maturity. So being able to, so this book is the guide or the manual that you can work with to actually build up to that spiritual sexual maturity level and to be able to flow freely with your sexuality in a way that is not only healing for you, but healing for those people that you choose to come in contact with on a sexual level.
That's so needed, and you could just instantly see the need. We did a show a few shows back with that was Rashida Gay, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how just, you know, your childhood traumas and experiences and just your upbringing, just how it shapes the person that you are today, and the importance of you know, releasing and changing that child within, so that you can become, you know, the adult and mature into the person that you need to be now. And you know, just listening to, you know, where people are and how they're functioning on that level as far as their like sexual maturity, and that blockage of them not being able to go into the mental and spiritual levels. I would imagine that has an effect on their life and their overall development. And a lot of people aren't even aware of that. So I think it's important that, you know, that you're bringing this subject up to discuss and just let people know that there's a way to measure that so that they can begin that process of healing. Right.
And, you know, the current group that I'm doing Write the Passage with here in Houston, part of their Goddess Care Kit, the Write the Passage that we do is called Sacred Goddess Temple. And a part of their Goddess Care Kit, they get a copy of Holistic Sexuality. And although we have a format of the different temples that the sisters go through, one of the sisters read the book early before we got to the holistic union part of it, where we talk about male-female relationships. And so it has been so interesting in our group that after each one of our sessions, which are usually held on Sunday afternoons, we have a small little talk about holistic sexuality, because so many of women have things that they have to heal from when it comes to their sexuality. And what I have found in talking to men's groups also is so many men also have things that they have to heal through. So it seems like we have two sessions in our Rites of Passage. We have our regular session, and then afterwards we have our mini discussion on holistic sexuality. So it's definitely something that people are needing in their lives. Yeah.
Do you think that just this particular aspect, this area, is having an overall effect in the relationships that people have? Like when we look at the U.S., divorce rate, for example. I haven't checked the statistics lately, but the last time that I did check, it was over 60%. It may even be over 70%. It's overwhelming in just the amount of failed relationships out there, or if not failed, failing relationships, that are going on right now. What role does this play in what's going on overall?
That's very hard to say because everybody's relationship is different.
Yeah.
But what I have found in relationships is that because of the emotional illusion that people usually get into relationships with in the first place, makes for a very shaky foundation in establishing the relationship. Because society has taught us that you fall in love, which is an emotional thing. People think that that's going to be the sustaining thing in their relationship.
Yes.
And it's not.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I teach too when I counsel couples in their pre-marriage counseling or in their relationship counseling or in their marriage counseling, because I do all three of those types of counseling. I tell them that it's kind of like what Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You are not the only reason why you are in a relationship is so that the person that you are with is there to help you fulfill your divine purpose.
Yes.
And you are there to help them fulfill their divine purpose. If that is not the center or the focal point of why you are together, then you're together for the wrong reason.
Speak it, Dr. Akua.
It's divine. Because that's why we're all here. We're all here as individuals for a purpose. And once you know what your purpose is, then whoever you align yourself with, whether it's one wife or two wives or one husband or two husbands or three husbands, okay, all of you all are working together to help each other fulfill their divine purpose. One of the very first things that we do in counseling is we get to know ourselves as individuals. Because oftentimes we will see women living for the man's life.
Right.
Okay? And that's not who she is. So one of the things we do is we get to know who we are. And one of the ways that I do it, and I go over this in the book as well, is we have each one of the people, the man and the woman, we have each one of them to list everything that they want to get a chance to do, be, see, know in this lifetime. Bring out your heart's desire. What is it that you want to do, be, see, place you want to go, whatever, okay? And then they have to list the top 5. And then they come together and they share their top 5. And in sharing the top 5, each person has to be able to say yes to at least the top 5 things that person wants to do in life and be ready to support them when they decide that it is their time to do those things in life.
Yes.
Now, I have had some couples to say yes, and I have actually seen them acting on supporting each other. Very recently, a couple that I counseled maybe a couple of years ago, one of the young lady's aspirations was to go to medical school, okay? And one of the young man's aspirations was to begin to get into his music again. Well, very recently I ran into the couple because they finished their counseling with me. They had a beautiful wedding. I married them, and I officiated their wedding. And then just here, like I said, 2 years later, she's in medical school, and he's headlining a reggae festival.
Yes.
And they are together, and they are happy, and they are supporting each other's purpose. So she's off in medical school in the Caribbean. He's in the U.S. taking care of the children while she goes to medical school. Plus, he's working and supporting the family and pursuing his music.
Nice.
Wow.
So it's, it is, once you really internalize why you come together as a couple, as a family, then you can begin to see stronger families being built. And it, like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of family structure a person chooses. I teach sister wives how to be real sister wives. I teach brother husbands how to be real brother husbands. So that whatever the family structure is, it works and it's according to divine law.
Wow, you just said so much. Just within what you said, I mean, you've already pointed out a lot of reasons why, relationships are kind of in the situation that they're in, and it just seems like just from the very beginning, as far as mate selection, that because of society, like that process is even flawed, and when people select what's supposed to be their divine mate, they're kind of choosing them for the wrong reasons. We live in a very emotional society, and people have a very difficult time controlling their emotions and using them as tools, but not as masters. They their emotions control them, and they find themselves in these unthought out situations just based on how they feel. And, they're setting themselves up for problems from the very beginning. So, this work and what you're doing and just what you revealed today in this short amount of time is profound. And I think that, it's going to, open the eyes for a lot of people listening right now. I have a question for you in regards to one of the things that you mentioned was just talking about sexuality and children. And we know that from the very beginning in our society, the children are being misinformed, and they're being taught about sexuality from their peers and on the streets, as opposed to like really in the homes and having real conversation. What age do you think is appropriate to begin talking about sex and sexuality with the child?
I think around age 10, as they get ready to move into puberty. So if a child is raised holistically, with the love and care that they need, they have a sense of responsibility already for themselves and for their family. By the age 10, if they show an interest in it, or if they encounter something that raises their curiosity, they should be talked with about their sexuality and what it is and how it should be used in the right way.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think around age 10.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at this it was a short documentary, very short, and it was they just kind of recorded parents speaking to their children about sex and sexuality for the first time. And but these children definitely were not 10. I mean, they were talking to them pretty young, like I would say 6, 7, 8 years old. They're was having this conversation with them, and just the difficulties that it was for parents to even talk about it, and just with the parent being so uncomfortable about it, it automatically makes the child uncomfortable, and it just seems like that's what's going on, and nothing is really being said to each other. So
right, and most people live their sexual life is lived in shame. And so because they have not healed from that shame or that guilt, they carry that into their conversations with their children.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a major part of that difficulty that you speak of, is because they're operating from fear, shame, and guilt that they have not healed from yet.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. So is that something you would suggest, like people try to work through? Because sometimes people don't even realize that that they have this shame and this guilt. It's almost just natural, like that. People accept like this is just how things are, and they don't even realize
like
that
it's an uncomfortable topic.
Yeah, they just don't realize that it's a problem there. So I would imagine that a person needs to heal themselves and bring themselves back into balance first, so that they don't, transfer that energy over to their children and just perpetuate that. So I would imagine that's why your book would be excellent, because you have that kind of test so that people can kind of evaluate themselves.
Right.
So, for couples out there, that need this type of healing and don't realize that they need this type of healing, what type of, and just for people in general, because I know it touches on just your relationships overall, what type of advice would you offer, people out there?
I would say to take some time to evaluate their desires, their wants, what they really feel comfortable with and what they don't feel comfortable with in their sexuality, and be unafraid to communicate that with their mates honestly.
Mm-hmm.
If first off, I would say read the book. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That would be first. But if by chance they can't read the book, that open and honest communication with yourself and with your mate is first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something you like, communicate it. If there's something you don't like, communicate it. If there's something you want, communicate it. That open and honest communication is number one and key also.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And just be unafraid. Truth is liberating.
Yeah.
And most people function out of lies and deceit when it comes to their sexuality. It's a lot of pretending going on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's definitely golden. Where can people find your book? Where can they go purchase it?
Well, Amazon.com. Of course, it is there.
Mm-hmm.
The ebook version is on my website, which is alifeofpeace.org. So if you go to the products page on alifeofpeace.org, or you go to the HolisticSexuality page on my website, which is drakuagray.com, they can find the book there as well. So either the A Life of Peace page, Amazon, or drakuagray.com. It's in all three of those places.
Do you also do relationship counseling?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you were to go to drakuagray.com, you could actually request a preliminary consultation to sit down and talk with me about your concerns. And then we can kind of look at whether the counseling that I offer is right. I also do wedding officiation, so if you went to the A Life of Peace page and looked at services, you would see us there as well. We do naming ceremonies. We do everything pretty much that the community needs in terms of wellness on a more spiritual, physical, and emotional level.
And then those who also want to take some of your health training, they'll find the information there as well, right?
Right, at alifeofpeace.org.
Okay. And is all your social media info plugged in? So if they wanted to, like, you know, follow you on Facebook or Twitter or whatever,
absolutely. I'm on almost all of them. You know, it's so many of them now, I can't keep up yet.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google. Yes. Okay. Those 5 I can name right off the top. That's where I am on social media.
Okay. Perfect. We really, really appreciate having you on the show.
Yes.
And just your wisdom that you shared. I know it's going to help a lot of people. It's very unfortunate, but, we just in our business, in helping people, we come across so many, couples, unfortunately, that are really struggling and just having a lot of challenges overall. And, sometimes, we try to help when we can, but sometimes it's a little bit out of the scope of everything that we do. And we're trying to be very focused with that. So it's always good to have channels to direct people. So I know that, this show is going to be golden. So thank you so much for being a part of this show. And
absolutely, it's my pleasure. I'm very happy that you all asked me to come on, and I look forward to possibly joining you all again.
Most definitely. Just from our talk, my wheels are already turning about specific topic shows that we could talk to you about. I could ask questions for days. Are there any parting words that you would like to leave our listeners with on their holistic health journey?
I would say be true to yourself. Be real. Just begin to realign yourself with nature and really understand what nature would have you to do in order to be healthy. Because all things natural, when it comes to your health, is going to be A+ for you.
Nice.
Okay.
And before we go, for all the information in today's episode, all of Dr. Akua's contact information on how to get access to her book, just go to jkhealthtribe.com. Go to the search box, type Dr. Akua. Doctor is abbreviated in Akua, AKUA, and you can gain access to the show notes page for this episode. And once again, Dr. Akua, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm super excited to share this with our community.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Peace and blessings.
All right. Peace and blessings.
So that is the conclusion of our interview with Dr. Akua. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview, but most importantly, you received value from it. And to gain access to all the show notes, make sure you go to jkhealthtribe.com/40. And there you can get all of Dr. Akua's information is there, information on her book, her Wellness Institute, her personal page, and also all the information about what was discussed in the interview. Okay. And make sure you shoot over to jkhealthtribe.com also to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, and you can stay connected with Jamal and myself about all the things we have coming down the pike in the future. Okay. So until next time, live healthier.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.